Hello, my name is Sean LaFrance, and I'm a member of the New Hampshire Healthcare Decisions Coalition. The objective of this brief video introduction is to provide you with some context and historical perspective for the 2021 changes to the New Hampshire Advance Directive Law. The legal foundation for someone to make medical decisions for another person has evolved over the past few decades. New Hampshire's original living will law was created in 1985. This identified a process for someone to express in writing their choices in regard to life-sustaining treatment if they lacked the capacity to give consent. In 1991, the Patient Self-Determination Act, a federal law, was created, and that allowed a person to designate another person to make decisions for them. This led to New Hampshire creating the power of attorney for healthcare law 3 years later. This was designed in part to address new medical knowledge and societal expectation regarding a person's consent to receive medical treatment. This law created an opportunity for a person to determine in advance of possibly losing health decision capacity to select a trusted person they know who could make decisions for them. The New Hampshire law outlined in detail how to do this and when it could be used to provide medical care. Over time, confusion arose as more people became aware of these laws. Conflicts among families and among healthcare providers led to lawsuits requiring judges, including the U.S. Supreme Court, to interpret and determine constitutional elements of different state laws. For example, confusion in New Hampshire between the two laws included different definitions for the same terms, and the power of attorney for healthcare law requires more patient engagement and potential guidance about their medical care than the more passive living will law. Also, medical diagnostic and treatment technologies have expanded rapidly, and there were major social changes in terms of family structure, increased mobility, and new communication technology that made practical use of the advanced directives less clear. People came together in 1999 to form the New Hampshire End-of-Life Care Coalition to address these concerns. The coalition brought together people in the state representing consumers, medical providers, legal experts, religious leaders, advocates for people with disabilities, and others to identify how the living will and power of attorney for healthcare laws could be improved to better serve their intended purpose. The coalition succeeded in having the New Hampshire State Legislature create a special committee of legislators and coalition representatives to recommend changes to the law. This committee heard testimony from many people and studied similar laws in other states. It issued a final report with recommendations in 2002. A few examples of their recommendations include the use of plain English and consistent definitions in the law, a simpler way for people to express what they want or don't want in terms of life-sustaining treatment, how to care for a patient without a living will or power of attorney who needs medical treatment but lacks healthcare decision capacity. Finally, the patient with a DNR order, do not resuscitate, who wants it to remain in place if moving between facilities or if they're receiving healthcare at home. All the recommendations of this special report to the legislature were not fully implemented in the law until 2015, 13 years later. It took more than a decade because lawmaking is a political process, and the issues being addressed here, life, death, choice, individual freedom, are important issues where a wide range of individual and organizational beliefs, feelings, and opinions are held. The 2021 changes explained in the following video builds upon this legacy of improvement in the law and how it supports people in terms of deciding what healthcare they want. Members of the original coalition and many new people contributed to the 2021 changes. In fact, the coalition renamed itself a few years ago to the New Hampshire Healthcare Decisions Coalition in recognition that this work supports informed consent whenever you may lack health decision-making capacity, either temporarily or permanently in our adult lives, and not solely near the end of life. Periodically reassessing our advance directives is important because our lives and relationships change. Likewise, public policy and the law requires periodic reassessment to take into account new knowledge, social change, and lessons learned over time. Thank you for participating in this important effort to support people in understanding how to make their health preferences understood when they lack the capacity to do so.